goes back quite a long way. I think it goes back to what we would call the mini-university program, where we used to invite actually pre-high school students in to do a bunch of experiments which involved smells and bangs and colors and so on. And they loved it. But then unfortunately something happens, and it happens as the kids approach high school, where chemistry becomes mathematically complicated and abstract and so on. I thought a good deal about this and thought what we should be doing is teaching chemistry more from the perspective of the lab. People love doing things, and if you teach less content but more by activities which people are going to get their hands dirty, if you will, then science is fun. And it's obviously fun for me. I go to my research lab every day. How do you get kids excited in science? It's more a question, I think, of how do you maintain the excitement which they naturally have pre-adolescence, if you will. And I think in large part that depends on how science is delivered to them. It's not about teaching, it's about getting students to learn, for heaven's sake. It's a totally different thing, I think. We lecture too much. The eureka, that moment when you've influenced some person and they've got it, particularly if they were in relatively unhappy circumstances beforehand, that's a great moment.
It's critical to educate young women on the career options that a science background supports, because it is one way to promote women into science careers, and also it gives them the opportunities to learn about what options are available to them. Teenage girls often feel that some science careers are unattainable. This is because of a number of circumstances, everything from social environments to society. Even at the junior high level, young girls are often told not to take advanced math and advanced science classes so that their GPAs will be higher and they'll have a better chance at getting into university. But that sets them at a huge disadvantage. When they enter university, they've already limited their career options quite substantially. Last year, in honor of the International Year of Chemistry 2011, we started many outreach programs here at the university. As a chemistry professor, I have a lot of outlets for sharing my knowledge, especially in the area of women in science. One of the major ways that I share my knowledge is through hosting these Women in Science events. And it gives the community an opportunity to hear about different careers that women that have science educations are pursuing in this area. The feedback that we received after these Women in Science events we've held here at CBU has been incredible. One young girl wrote, "I really like chemistry, so I thought I had to be a pharmacist. After attending this Women in Science event, I now know there's lots of options available to me to pursue with my love of chemistry." My work as a role model for women in science in this area has an influence on how girls in this area think about science, because I talk to them directly about that issue. Making these young girls aware of how science can improve their lives and how a career in science actually can be used locally is really important. And so here in Cape Breton, we have a great opportunity, especially post-industrial Cape Breton, where we have significant environmental concerns. If we can heighten these girls' awareness and heighten their understanding of science, and let them know that they can pursue a career in science that they can use locally, I think that could have a significant local impact.
I think you get young people interested in science by showing them how it applies to their everyday existence. It's up to us to try to sustain that and give them an understanding of how you get to the answers for those questions. The Imhotep's Legacy Academy was built as a partnership with African Nova Scotian educators and myself. We created a program that has 3 main phases that nurtures the learner through 3 crucial periods in their career. So at the Imhotep's Legacy Academy this past year, we added an incentive for students to continue to participate. A scholarship that is funded by TD Bank was initiated, and by participating in our program, the students in grade 7, 8, 9, and so on who qualify are promised a scholarship amount, and that amount increases each year they participate in our program. So we are breaking down the financial barriers through that scholarship. And of course, the academic barriers we're breaking down through our enrichment program. I set out to achieve what every scientist hopes to achieve, and that is to make a difference. Of course, that's measured usually by a Nobel Prize, and that motivated me because I saw on the wall the pictures of all Nobel Prize winners in physics while I was an undergraduate student. And there are no physicists of African descent who have achieved a Nobel Prize. And so that, motivated me. And while I may not get there, I'm hoping that we can nurture the next generation of African Nova Scotians to become that first physicist of African descent to win a Nobel Prize.